The date is November 26, 1987. A cool Thanksgiving night settles over Ohio, but inside the Richfield Coliseum, the atmosphere is anything but calm. The air crackles with the kind of electricity that only the World Wrestling Federation's golden era could generate. This isn't just a wrestling show, it's a spectacle, the main event and heart of the inaugural Survivor Series. On one side stands a mountain range of men led by the legendary Andre the Giant, a man so synonymous with villainy at this moment that his very presence draws a chorus of boos. On the other, the American icon, the red and yellow thunderbolt, Hulk Hogan. But look closely at Hogan's team. Among the familiar faces, the slick-haired Paul Orndorff and the seasoned Don Muraco, stands a newcomer, a man unlike anyone the audience has ever seen. He is a walking, breathing masterpiece of the grotesque and the beautiful. Nearly 400 pounds of raw, coiled power. His bald head is a canvas for a swirling, intricate flame tattoo that seems to lick at his very soul, a visual testament to a volcanic, unpredictable spirit. This is Bam Bigelow, and he is about to step onto the grandest stage of them all. The audience, a mix of awe and trepidation, watches as he moves with an impossible agility for a man of his size. In this monumental main event, as titans like Hogan, Andre, and King Kong Bundy collide, Bigelow is the unheralded anchor. He weathers the storm, surviving an onslaught of muscle and fury. One by one, his teammates fall, until he is the last man standing for Hogan's team. He eliminates the hulking King Kong Bundy with a slingshot, then takes down the mountainous one-man gang, a feat that defies belief and earns the crowd's fervent respect. He ultimately succumbs to Andre the Giant, a legend in his own right, but the message has been sent. Bam Bigelow is a force to be reckoned with. He is a survivor, a spectacle, and for a fleeting moment, the future of the World Wrestling Federation. One could say he was almost synonymous with the company during this period. A larger-than-life character who headlined pay-per-views, including WrestleMania XI. And yet, for a career so deeply intertwined with the company's history, his name remains glaringly absent from the company's Hall of Fame. The question hangs in the air, a dark cloud over a legacy that burned so brightly. Why has this undeniable titan of the squared circle seemingly been blackballed? To understand the riddle of Bam Bigelow's absence, we must first trace the fiery path that led him to that fateful night in 1987. Born Scott Charles Bigelow in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, he was a physically gifted athlete from an early age, excelling in both high school football and wrestling. He was an imposing figure even in his youth, and after a brief, tumultuous period of working odd jobs, including a stint as a bounty hunter that ended with him being shot and imprisoned in Mexico, he found his true calling. He entered the legendary Monster Factory, a wrestling school run by Larry Sharp, who instantly recognized his unique potential. It wasn't just his immense size, it was his stunning athleticism and his ability to move with a speed that belied his frame. His early career was a whirlwind of success across various territories. He dominated in the Memphis-based Continental Wrestling Association, where he won his first championship and quickly established himself as a monstrous heel. He then moved on to the Texas-based World-Class Championship Wrestling, where he briefly wrestled as Crusher Yurkov and captured the television championship. But it was in Japan, with New Japan Pro Wrestling, that he truly honed his craft and built his international reputation. Beginning in January 1987, he toured extensively with the promotion, a proving ground for some of the world's toughest wrestlers. He formed a fearsome tag team with Big Van Vader, known as Big, Bad, and Dangerous, and together they eventually captured the Tag Team Championship. These tours were instrumental, solidifying his reputation as a legitimate, hard-hitting brawler who could work with anyone, from the agile to the immense. This reputation made him an irresistible prospect for Vince McMahon and the World Wrestling Federation. When he debuted in the Federation in May 1987, he was immediately thrust into a high-profile storyline known as the Battle for Bam Bam, with every heel manager in the company clamoring for his services. This storyline, which was unprecedented for a newcomer, demonstrated the immense value McMahon saw in him. He was a natural face, and his eventual alignment with manager Oliver Humperdinck cemented his heroic status. The high point of this initial run was, of course, the 1987 Survivor Series. a moment that should have launched him into the stratosphere. He was a main event player from the start, a rare distinction for a man so new to the company. But this initial run was short-lived. A combination of persistent knee injuries and backstage friction, a sense of resentment from other wrestlers who believed he was getting too much of a push too quickly, led to his departure in July 1988. He would spend the next 4 years bouncing between promotions, including a run in Jim Crockett Promotions and tours of Japan and Mexico. But the pull of the World Wrestling Federation was strong, and he made his triumphant return in October 1992. This second run would become his most memorable and defining period. He came back as a heel, managed by the eccentric and gothic Luna Vachon, his main squeeze. Their partnership was captivating, a twisted, romantic vision of two misfits against the world. He was a dominant force, defeating the Big Boss Man at the Royal Rumble and entering a memorable feud with Bret Hart for the World Heavyweight Championship. He was a regular on Federation television and pay-per-views, including a run to the finals of the King of the Ring tournament, where he lost to Bret Hart in a classic encounter. But his most significant moment would come in 1995, and it's a moment that, perhaps more than any other, highlights the strange duality of his career. The company was looking for a new mainstream star to headline WrestleMania XI. They found him not in the wrestling world, but in the realm of professional football with Lawrence Taylor, the legendary New York Giants linebacker. The storyline was simple, yet brilliant. At the Royal Rumble, Bigelow, after a loss, exchanged words with Taylor at ringside. A scuffle ensued, and a challenge was made. The main event of WrestleMania XI was set: Bam Bigelow versus Lawrence Taylor. This was a spectacle that transcended wrestling, drawing mainstream media attention from outlets including Sports Illustrated. For the match to work, it required an extraordinary professional, someone who could not only make Taylor look good, but also carry the entire weight of the match, a task that required impeccable ring psychology and an innate understanding of how to tell a story in the ring. Bam was that professional. He was a master of his craft, and he put Taylor over in a way that made the inexperienced football player look like a legitimate tough guy. He took the loss with grace and professionalism, cementing his reputation as one of the most reliable and trusted performers in the business. His role in this main event, a critical moment for the company, should have earned him a special place in the company's history. But a few months later, he was gone, becoming disillusioned with the backstage politics of the Clique, a group of powerful wrestlers who held significant creative sway. He would find a new home in Extreme Championship Wrestling, where his career would experience a second wind. He was a perfect fit for the company's gritty, no-holds-barred style. He won the World Heavyweight and World Television Championships. But his time there was also brief, as he was lured away by a lucrative contract with World Championship Wrestling in 1998, where he would go on to form the Jersey Triad with Diamond Dallas Page and Chris Kanyon, holding the World Tag Team Championship. His career, in a way, mirrors the tumultuous landscape of professional wrestling in the 1990s, a constant movement between promotions. He was a workhorse, a main eventer, a champion, and a fan favorite everywhere he went. And yet, the WWE Hall of Fame has remained closed to him. The question is why? The simplest and perhaps most cynical answer is that the WWE Hall of Fame is not a true Hall of Fame. It is an honorary distinction, a television spectacle, and a marketing tool. And in the eyes of the company, Bam Bigelow may not have checked enough of the right boxes. First and foremost, there is the lack of a major championship. While he held championships in other promotions, he never captured the Federation's World, Intercontinental, or Tag Team Championship. The Hall of Fame has always favored wrestlers who held the company's most prestigious titles. While this is not an absolute requirement, as many Hall of Famers have never held a top belt, it certainly helps a wrestler's case. Bigelow's role was often that of a dominant, upper mid-card heel who was used to get other faces over, as seen in his feuds with Bret Hart and Diesel. Second, his career was fragmented. He spent significant time away from the Federation in rival promotions. For a company that often seeks to portray itself as the singular home of professional wrestling history, celebrating a man who was arguably more successful outside their walls is not always a priority. The Hall of Fame is, at its core, a celebration of the company's own history and legacy. While Bigelow's time in the Federation was iconic, It was just a part of his overall story. Third, his personal history was complex and at times controversial. Bigelow had well-documented legal troubles and personal struggles, while he also had moments of incredible heroism, most notably when he saved several children from a burning building in 2000, suffering second-degree burns in the process. The darker parts of his life may have made the company hesitant to celebrate his memory. The WWE is part of a publicly traded company that is extremely protective of its image, and a checkered past, no matter how balanced by moments of greatness, can be a non-starter. Fourth, there is the matter of timing and advocacy. Bam Bigelow died prematurely in 2007 at the age of 45. While many Hall of Famers are inducted posthumously, the process often requires a strong advocate, someone within the company with enough influence to champion a wrestler's case. It is unclear if Bigelow had any high-profile friends or allies within the company actively lobbying for his induction, a key factor in the selection process. Without a vocal champion, a wrestler's legacy can fade into the background, overshadowed by those who have powerful friends to keep their name in the conversation. Finally, there is simply the selection bias of the Hall of Fame itself. The list of omissions is long and filled with names of men who are cult favorites or who were overshadowed by the biggest stars of their era. Bam Bigelow was, without a doubt, a star. But his era was dominated by larger-than-life figures like Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, and The Undertaker. He may have simply been a victim of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, his star shining brightly but not quite as bright as the solar systems around him. The mystery of Bam Bigelow's absence from the Hall of Fame is not really a mystery at all. It is a calculated decision, a reflection of the priorities and biases of a corporate entity. The Hall of Fame is not a meritocracy. It is a carefully curated pantheon, a monument to a company's own history and marketing strategy. Bam Bigelow was the quintessential sports entertainer, and the fact that he has not been honored is not a reflection of his legacy, but a damning indictment of the system that claims to celebrate it. Perhaps the most fitting tribute to Bam Bigelow is not a bronze statue or a plaque, but the undying respect of the fans who saw his fire, witnessed his artistry, and remember him not as a statistic, but as a sports entertainment masterpiece. May he rest in peace.